Hello, I'm Ashley Hefner, Advanced Planning Manager for the City of Culver City. Culver City is in the process of updating its general plan, which will help guide how our city government makes decisions and serves residents over the next 25 years. The general plan covers topics we all care deeply about, including housing, the economy, climate adaptation and resiliency, health and equity, transportation, arts and culture, parks and recreation, urban design, and so much more. I'm pleased to introduce a new video series where our team of expert consultants will share key findings from their research on existing conditions in Culver City. The city will use their insights and feedback from the community to shape policies in the updated general plan. A mini survey accompanies each video for you to share your thoughts on the content presented in the videos. We need to hear from you to create a general plan for Culver City that's driven by our community values. So please share the videos and surveys with others. This is a challenging time, and we thank you for your continued interest in the general plan update. Community engagement related to the general plan update will continue. For the time being, it will transition to an online format through methods such as these informational videos and surveys to gather input. Thank you, and please enjoy the video.
Hi, my name is Zachary Zabel, and I'm a senior associate at Nelson Nygaard Consulting Associates. We're a multimodal transportation planning firm that's helping Culver City update their general plan, particularly in related to mobility and transportation concerns. Today, I'm going to walk you through our findings of existing conditions for mobility and transportation in Culver City. So mode share is the percentage of people using a particular type of transportation option, such as driving, transit, or bicycling in a given area. The chart on the screen displays Culver City's journey to work mode share, and a majority of Culver City residents that are in the workforce drive alone to work. As shown on the chart, this accounts for over 77% of how residents in the workforce get to work. Carpooling is the second most favored mode. The work from home category has the third highest mode share. It should be noted, however, that this share does not contribute to commute trips, but it is categorized as a mode by the US Census Bureau. More people work from home than those who regularly ride transit or commute by foot or bicycle. The other category, which has the lowest mode share, captures trips that include taxicabs and motorcycles. Looking at commute times, residents who drive alone to work tend to have shorter commute times than those who carpool or rely on public transit. In comparing commute times by mode, over half of the residents who drive alone to work have a travel time of less than 30 minutes, while less than 15% of residents who take public transit to work have a similar travel time. Compared to other modes, public transit has the greatest share of residents with commute times exceeding 60 minutes. Looking at the existing roadway network, the 405 freeway is a vital regional artery that passes through the city. In addition, State Route 90 connects Fox Hills with Marina del Rey. These are important regional roadways, but are maintained by the California Department of Transportation. Primary arteries operated by the city primarily serve through and non-local traffic, providing local limited access. These streets carry higher vehicle volumes and speeds than secondary or neighborhood streets. Secondary arteries connect primary streets to neighborhood feeders and serve non-local through traffic and local access. Neighborhood feeders are primarily located in residential neighborhoods and connect arteries with local streets. And finally, local streets provide access between adjacent land uses and connect private parking and driveways to larger non-local streets. And an example of all these facilities is on the slide presented. Taking a look at traffic collisions, aside from I-405, hotspots within relatively high rates of vehicle-involved collisions compared to the rest of the planning area include West Washington Boulevard through Culver West neighborhood, Slauson Avenue through the Fox Hills neighborhood, the intersection of Jefferson Boulevard and Sepulveda Boulevard, Sepulveda Boulevard and crossing intersections north of Culver Boulevard, and Washington Boulevard through the McManus neighborhood. Many of these corridors are part of the city's high injury network, which results from a data-driven analysis of crash history in Culver City. The high injury network makes up 15% of city streets and accounts for over 80% of incidents of fatal or severe collisions in the city. In response to the city's Vision Zero goals, the Public Works Department is preparing a local road safety plan, which will aim at safely and equitably serving multimodal mobility within the city. The plan will include goals and objectives, analysis findings, prioritize safety measures, and potential funding sources and evaluation criteria. When taking a look at the primary collision factors that result in crashes in Culver City, almost a third of collisions are primarily the result of unsafe driving speeds. The second, much further down, is automobile right-of-way, which is due to drivers failing to yield properly. These drivers may have failed to see other vehicles or failed to see a lane delineation or committed a rushing attempt to a changing lane. Clearly, there's a link between speed and safety. Speed limits generally range from 25 to 40 miles per hour in the city, and all unsafe speed collisions between 2014 and 2018 occurred on roadways with speed limits of 30 to 40 miles per hour. Taking a look at existing multimodal facilities in Culver City, Class 1 facilities are shared use bicycle paths or paved trails. They provide a separate exclusive right-of-way for bicycling, walking, and other non-motorized modes. The city has a total of 4.4 miles of shared use paths, a majority of which are comprised by the Bologna Creek bike path. Class 2 bike lanes are striped preferential lanes on roadways for one-way bicycle travel. Culver City has 6.5 miles of streets with bike lanes. Class 3 bike routes, or sharrows, are signed routes where people riding bicycles share a travel lane with people driving. There are about 3.5 miles of marked bike routes in Culver City. Class 4 separated bikeways are on-street facilities that are physically separated from motor vehicle traffic by a barrier. At present, there are no Class 4 facilities within city limits. Culver City is surrounded by the city of Los Angeles and several unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County on all sides. Many of the city's arterial streets function as regional connectors for motor vehicle traffic in all directions. Reallocation of space oftentimes requires significant coordination from a regional traffic perspective. Few existing bicycle routes intersect with each other, forcing people riding bicycles to share space with motor vehicles. Bike lanes along Washington Boulevard are inconsistent, changing between Class 2 and Class 3 facilities multiple times. Bologna Creek Bike Path is a popular regional bicycle route, but most access points in Culver City are busy arterial streets that often lack bicycle infrastructure. And finally, Culver City recently approved the 2020 Bicycle and Pedestrian Action Plan. This includes recommendations to address some of these gaps, as well as improvements within the existing network. Taking a look at the conditions for walking in Culver City, downtown has wide promenade sidewalks, making plenty of room for amenities like seating, planters, and public art. Sidewalks, however, are missing along certain corridors, such as Slauson Avenue east of Hannum Ave. The city is installing new sidewalks as new development occurs, but gaps do still exist. In 2014, Los Angeles County Metro adopted a countywide complete streets policy that includes a local mandate for all cities to adopt a complete streets policy to be eligible for grants. Culver City approved its complete streets policy in January of 2020. Complete streets are streets that are designed and operated to enable safe access for all users, regardless of age, ability, or mode of travel. Complete streets make it easier to cross the street, access retail, take transit, and bicycle to work and community destinations. Elements of complete streets design include wider sidewalks and extended curbs, treatments that reduce crossing distances and increase the visibility of pedestrians and people riding bicycles, treatments that promote transit reliability, and traffic calming measures that reduce vehicle speeds, such as narrower travel lanes or neighborhood traffic calming circles. Safe Routes to School is a program that increases the number of children walking and riding bicycles to school through infrastructure changes to the streetscape, such as crosswalks and non-infrastructure programs developed by local organizations and schools. The program in Culver City is funded by the city and the Culver City Unified School District. Culver City was first awarded a grant in 2013 and worked with 5 elementary schools and 1 middle school. Culver City's coalition is known as Walk and Rollers. The group focuses on education, encouragement, evaluation, and enforcement of their programming. Activities include on-campus workshops, community classes, educational and promotional materials, group rides, incentive programs, and stakeholder outreach. City staff also evaluated all school areas within the city and identified infrastructure improvements that are being implemented in fiscal year 2020-2021, including curb ramps where deemed deficient, curb extensions, and enhancements to signing and pavement markings. Taking a look at mobility services, the city's transportation department recently adopted a new mobility vision connecting all the services that the department provides, which are now segmented into 3 areas: CityBus, CityShare, and CityRide. CityBus represents the Culver City fixed route transit service. CityShare includes the city's scooter share, bike share, city trip reduction program, and multi-departmental transportation demand management initiatives. City Rides includes Dial-A-Ride and future microtransit service. Culver CityBus is the 2nd oldest municipally owned bus line in the state of California. Culver CityBus operates 7 fixed route local bus routes and 1 bus rapid transit line. The city bus serves 4.6 million annual riders before the COVID-19 pandemic, with a service area of 33 square miles that includes Culver City and numerous west side communities, including outside of the city limits, including Century City, Mar Vista, Rancho Park, Marina del Rey, Playa Vista, Palms, West Los Angeles, Westwood, Westchester, and Venice. Service runs from the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA, to the north, to the Metro Green Line station to the south, and from Fairfax Avenue to the east, and additionally to Venice Beach to the west. As a regional transit service, Culver CityBus connects with the Metro E, commonly known as the Expo Line, and C, commonly known as the Green Line, and other regional bus lines. In addition, Culver CityBus also provides service to the LAX City Bus Transit Center, where passengers can access a direct shuttle to LAX airport terminals. While this video summarizes existing conditions in the city, it is worth noting upcoming projects that are currently being planned. The city is looking to implement 3 tactical transit lane pilot projects in the near future. These include the Downtown E-Line Tactical Mobility Lane pilot project that will be implemented in the near future and go live in April 2021. The Sepulveda Boulevard pilot and the Jefferson Boulevard pilot. These tactical mobility lanes will consist of dedicated portions of the right-of-way to accommodate people riding bicycles and scooters, emergency vehicles, and public transportation. The lanes will remain in place for up to 24 months following design and implementation. As part of the first pilot project, The city will also implement a circulator service that will leverage the mobility lanes to provide fast and efficient service connecting downtown Culver City, the E-Line Culver City Station, the Helms District, and potentially also the Art District. In addition to CityBus, Los Angeles County Metro provides service to the city as well. In 2021, the Metro E-Line, formerly known as Expo, opened in Culver City, providing a catalytic boost to the city's transit accessibility and viability as a location for transit-oriented development. The E-Line was extended to downtown Santa Monica from Culver City in 2016. It currently connects Culver City with downtown Santa Monica, West Los Angeles, the University of Southern California, and downtown Los Angeles. The Culver City Transit Center is served by 4 LA Metro bus routes that provide access to Mid-City, Venice, and South LA in the city of Los Angeles, in addition to connections to other transit routes. LA Metro also has 1 bus route that serves the Robertson Transit Hub and several lines that serve the West LA Transit Center, which Culver CityBus also connects to. In addition to LA Metro, Santa Monica Big Blue Bus Line 17 connects Culver City's Robertson Transit Hub next to the Metro E-Line station in Culver City to the UCLA campus in Westwood Daily. There are other Big Blue bus lines that intersect or touch on Culver City boundaries as well, including lines 3, Rapid 12, and 16. The Los Angeles Department of Transportation, LADOT, also provides commuter bus services to Culver City, providing connections to downtown Los Angeles. CityBus uses Access Services as its ADA complementary paratransit provider. Access Services offers shared ride, curb-to-curb transportation to people with disabilities in Los Angeles County 7 days a week and 24 hours a day using a fleet of small buses, minivans, and taxis. In addition to using Access, CityBus also runs its own Dial-A-Ride service. Dial-A-Ride is a shared curb-to-curb transportation service for Culver City residents that have a physician-certified disability, being rebranded under the CityRide logo. Culver City is also in process of developing its microtransit service, which was approved by City Council through the budget process. This service will provide on-demand mobility options to better access transit stations, the first of many emerging mobility solutions that Culver City is doing. Looking at emerging mobility, Culver City began an e-scooter pilot program in July 2018. The city collected data and public feedback throughout the pilot. The city distributed both a public and user survey. In response to user survey results, 60% of respondents said e-scooters were the fastest way to get around, and 82% supported e-scooters for increasing non-automobile travel modes. The most established form of micromobility is dock-based bicycle share. Metro Bike Share's program currently operates in downtown Los Angeles, Mar Vista, and Venice. In June of 2020, Culver City Council directed staff to evaluate the feasibility of establishing the Metro Bike Share program using electric bikes within city limits. Staff are currently working with LA Metro to assess demand and project ridership, as well as the potential costs and benefits of various alternatives, which include smart bikes, electric bicycles, or a hybrid of smart and electric bicycles. City staff identified the bike share station locations to serve major traffic generators and transportation hubs throughout the city and to connect with neighboring jurisdictions. The bike share program will be launched in Culver City by the end of 2020. Taking a look at parking conditions, the city has a substantial parking supply to meet various needs and uses. The municipal code outlines minimum off-street parking requirements for different land uses, including residential, commercial, and recreational parking. The city has a shared parking provision that allows for 2 or more non-residential uses to meet parking requirements by sharing the same off-street facilities. Parking requirements also include bicycle parking, which must be provided for multi-family projects, retail and commercial developments, and other non-residential uses. The COVID-19 pandemic and stay-at-home orders across the world have had a profound impact on transportation. Culver City, with the LA Basin as a whole, has experienced an unprecedented reduction in vehicle travel and congestion. Transit providers, TNC services like Lyft and Uber, and shared scooter and bike companies have seen a dramatic decrease in their levels of ridership. The city has shifted its focus towards understanding what the community really wants when dealing with the new normal created by pandemic conditions and its effects on the transportation system. For example, the increased desire for people to get outside and adhere to social distancing guidelines has been seen in increasing levels of walking and riding bicycles for exercise and recreation. Culver City Council established a no-fee temporary permit for use of the public right-of-way for outdoor dining and retail activities on sidewalks within designated streets in the city. The pandemic has also highlighted the already emerging demands on curb space for pickup and drop-offs related to deliveries and the power that teleworking has to reduce drive-alone commuting rates for those that have the option. As the world moves forward, cities will need to consider mechanisms to address potential increases in driving alone as safety concerns remain over shared modes, while furthering best practices that have been implemented to prioritize space for the safe movement of active users. Some of the key issues that were identified in our analysis of existing conditions include the condition of the city being surrounded by the city of Los Angeles and several unincorporated areas of the county, many of which the city's roadways connect with to regional motor vehicle traffic during peak hours, posing challenges for the citywide transportation network. As development and workforce increases in Culver City and surrounding Westside communities, increased strains will be put on this network. This pass-through traffic also detracts from the comfort and potential safety of people riding bicycles and pedestrians both on neighborhood streets and the principal arterials that run through downtown Culver City. Some of the key opportunities identified, it must be recognized that mobility solutions are not merely a mechanism to address the negative impacts of traffic and congestion, but can serve as a key tool to achieve the broader general plan update goals of social equity, environmental sustainability, economic development, and public health. By better integrating transportation planning with land use planning, the city can ensure future development is supportive of transit, enhances safe access for bicycles and pedestrians of all abilities, and implements travel demand management measures that help to reduce single occupant vehicle trips, carbon emissions, and the demand for parking. By implementing the principles and recommendations of the 2017 Transit-Oriented Development Visioning Study, the city can better accommodate new growth by designing around all modes of travel more inclusively, as opposed to the private automobile being the dominant mode of transportation that influences land use outcomes. By adopting complete streets guidelines and implementing best practice measures for collision reduction, the city will be able to create a holistic transportation network that is safe and comfortable for users of every mode, regardless of their age and ability. As technologies in mobility are rapidly changing, and the recent pandemic has showed how travel patterns can rapidly shift with unforeseen events, recommendations for the city's transportation future must consider how emerging technologies best serve the needs of the community and the implications of future innovations such as autonomous vehicles on parking revenue, the demand for parking, and the ability to reallocate space previously dedicated to motor vehicles and the storage of vehicles to the usage of people riding bicycles, walking, and higher value land uses. The City of Culver City is administering a mobility survey to learn more about the community's ideas and to understand their priorities. The survey can be accessed using the link shown here. Thank you all for taking the time today to review the existing mobility conditions of Culver City with me, and we look forward to hearing your input down the road. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the City of Culver City's General Plan Update video series. For more information about the general plan update and opportunities to get involved, visit pictureculvercity.com. Thank you and stay safe.